The silent battle. It wasn't the kind of thing anyone would expect from a 16-year-old girl, but I had been fighting a battle of anxiety for as long as I could remember. It was a silent, invisible war that no one could see, not even my parents. They viewed me as the quiet one, the introverted daughter who kept to herself, always buried in her books or glued to her homework. I was the kind of kid that followed the rules, never caused any trouble, and stayed out of the way. But in all actuality, inside I was drowning. I didn't know how to explain it to anybody. Where could I even begin to describe this lingering sense of fear that always had a home in the back of my mind? It wasn't just a passing concern, but serious, overwhelming, and continuous. The storm cloud that never broke. The most trivial things now felt like impossible challenges. Even a simple school presentation would make my heart race. The very thought of me talking before the class could send this unprecedented flood of panic, which I could not quite control. What most people probably don't give a second thought to would make me lose sleep over. It was more than just school though. Social interactions, which seemed so natural to others, felt like walking a tightrope. Small talk, casual conversations with friends, or even just standing in the line at the store was like a pressure cooker, ready to blow. My chest would tighten, my palms were sweaty, and I could feel my thoughts racing, unable to slow down. Any situation, no matter how trivial it may be, seemed to be a test I was bound to fail. I watched the way people live with such ease, and I couldn't help but envy that feeling. Why didn't I feel this ease? Why was everything so much harder for me? And worse, why didn't anyone notice? My parents were busy with work at home. They didn't seem to notice that I struggled at all. My mother would ask, "How was your day?" And I would smile and say, "Fine," while nothing inside felt fine. I didn't want to worry her. I didn't want to burden anyone with this invisible battle. Thus, I kept all of it inside. What was the worst part? The isolation wasn't just about the anxiety itself. It was the feeling of being alone with it. Nobody knew what was going on with me, and I didn't know how to make it real for them. Every day felt like walking around with this weight on my shoulders, a weight that nobody else could see. I tried to push through it, tried to ignore it, but it was like trying to ignore a shadow that follows you everywhere. I would smile and act as if everything was okay, but inside, it was like I was suffocating. As the anxiety worsened with each new day of high school, pretending had begun to break me. Anxiety worsened, and I struggled to keep up with my schoolwork, my relationships, and just life in general. I woke up every morning exhausted, feeling as though I'd run a marathon in my sleep. My mind was on edge, even when doing something as simple as having dinner with my family. Even the smallest thing would trigger a panic attack. A word of criticism, an unexpected change in plans, even a look from someone across the room would completely send me spiraling. I couldn't seem to understand why I couldn't be normal. Why couldn't I just feel like everyone else? But it wasn't until I had a full-blown panic attack in the middle of my geometry class that the floodgates broke. I had been fine, or so it seemed, until the bell rang to signal the start of the lesson. The familiar hum of anxiety crept up on me, but this time, it was different. It came on stronger, more urgent. My chest was tight, my breathing was shallow. I couldn't listen to the sound of the teacher's voice or the equations on the board. All I could hear was the pounding of my heart in my ears. I could feel the room spinning, and I knew I was about to lose control. I raised my hand, and my teacher nodded. I stumbled out of my seat, mumbling something about not feeling well, and then hustled out of the classroom, my legs shaking beneath me. Everything after that is pretty fuzzy. I vaguely recall sitting in the bathroom floor, crying hysterically. It wasn't only the panic attack that had shaken me, but more so the realization that this charade couldn't continue anymore. I was fighting a war that I knew I couldn't win alone. I couldn't keep going this way. I couldn't keep hiding. For the first time, I admitted to myself that I needed help.